Economy mà sao lại
Hello.
Economy Plus.
premium economy?
Yeah.
That's the recliner.
Exactly.
It's not a straight like that.
I'm not very fussy. I just need at least business class. So.
Okay, perfect.
Five-star hotel. At least 4,000. If you want to take me out.
I'm not very fussy.
Otherwise,
Business class.
that's my minimum criteria.
4-star for good view. I accept.
That's minimum criteria.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not going.
Let me.
You're better.
If we're gonna go somewhere with like 4 people, we need like 4 bodyguards at least. I reckon.
No, I don't
Chuyến
need.
xe nó quẹo đó con.
I don't need that. I cannot be too late.
The three wise men standing here all night. Có. Yeah. Wave. Đây này, nó này.
Okay, vậy là chỉ cần mua đủ hết mấy cái thì mua.
What did you get?
Conditioner. Bạn Văn đưa shampoo với conditioner qua cho Lina. Bạn Văn mua này được 50% không? Okay không? Có làm gì?
Yeah.
Giống như là mâm bình thường.
Look at the fog on the river.
Này typical bên Europe hay nhà.
Yeah.
What time do you get back then? You said noon when the bus comes back.
Yeah.
So we have hours, like we have 2 hours.
Hello. What you eating? Yeah.
Sáng mai bán gì nhìn thấy vui.
Saturday market nha.
Nãy 19 something.
Where are we going, Lina?
I don't know.
You don't know.
On the road.
Zurich.
Sorry.
Là mâm. Good. Yellow is sleeping. Wait here.
Con đọc sách.
Hả?
Con đọc
The
sách.
selfie video.
Oh, look at all the houses. Very, there's no high rise at all. They're all like flat.
Now we got it. It's wall.
Well, greenhouses, you know. Glass house farmhouse greenhouse.
Sorry?
Glass house farmhouse greenhouse.
Là Jaden.
So typical của Europe á hả? Look
Yeah.
at all the
It's all just plains. Like
foggy.
Australia, you get like
And
overgrown grass.
I think mountain is all around.
Yeah.
Grass.
I think mountain is all around the country.
It's so flat, like somebody's mowing these lawns.
So-
There's no way.
Eat the camera. Pat.
The Opera House.
Còn mấy cái building này đẹp.
That's the Opera House.
Yeah. Luna's Creeps.
Lúc nào cũng
Smell the gingerbread.
Đi vòng vòng ra follow. Go anywhere.
She's like that. Cute. Mắm Milan hả bạn?
So.
Yes.
Vem comigo. Me respeita, meu pai falava que eu era uma criança crescida.
Nãy thấy cái tram number 4 đi ngang á.
Beautiful towns, but they always are very, very high in the top places to live in the world. Geneva is always in the top 2 or 3. And they have a very high standard of living, and they have, of course, as well, high prices. But if you are living in towns like the wine produced in the region, and there's another drink that's made on the German side, and I'll be telling you more about that as we head up as well. And it's a very special drink, and it's called schnapps. And I'm talking here about German schnapps. I'm not talking about American schnapps or anything like that. Now, German schnapps is a very acquired drink. It can be up to 45% proof, and it contains absolutely no added sugar. So it's of freight per year. So a lot, that's alone for Switzerland. So the Rhine is a very important trading commercial river, and during the 1800s they decided, well, towards the end of the 1800s, they decided that the Rhine needed to be straightened, because the Rhine at that time was quite a narrow and a very, very windy river, and the ships were getting larger and larger and longer, and they couldn't get the ships around the bends anymore. So they said, well, we're going to have to straighten the Rhine. And then what they did is between 1870 and 1950, they actually straightened the river between the Rhine, between Basel and Cologne, and when they straightened it, they actually cut off over 120 miles of Rhine. So they did a lot of straightening back in those days. But of course, when you straighten a river and widen a river, that has maybe for the travel for ships advantages, but it also means, because of course the Rhine is sourced in the Swiss Alps, which is very high, the Rhine has naturally a very fast flow. It flows at over 9 knots, which is very fast for a river. And of course, when you straighten it, that meant it started to even flow faster. And so for many, many years during the 1960s, 1970s, German towns like Cologne and Koblenz and Rudesheim and many, many others got constantly flooded during the winter months. And now, of course, when all the ice and the snow in the Swiss Alps, and not only in the Swiss Alps but also in the Black Forest Mountains, starts to melt, then all the tributary rivers that come into the Rhine carry a lot of water, and that water is flowing very, very fast, because those are all very high regions. So, because of course, because Switzerland is a landlocked country, it doesn't have access to an ocean, and so they are very reliant on the Rhine to transport their goods, their imports and exports up and down to an ocean. Now, anybody who thinks that Switzerland is all about chocolate and Ricola couldn't be more mistaken. Switzerland today is a major exporter of fertilizers and chemicals, and all the major players are here in the town of Basel, whether that be Hoffmann-La Roche, Novartis, Bayer, BASF. They're all the major players are here in Basel, because the Rhine ends in Basel. Now, the Rhine itself is only navigable, or is navigable, from Holland right down to the town of Basel. The Rhine continues, of course, into Switzerland and heads up into the Swiss Alps. But from the town, building over on the left-hand side there. You can see it. They call it the glass house. I don't know why.
Chạy ngang để mình chạy luôn. Ngay biên giới có 3 nước luôn.
Sao nó không để mình ra ba rồi đi.
Yeah, mất không waste 2 hours. But they went back.
Yeah, if you look over to the left-hand side, for example, that very high white building.
Yeah, yeah.
Apparently it's the highest building in Switzerland still. Belongs to the company Hoffmann La Roche, the chemical company.
Để du lịch là một trong cái destination của cái trip.
Yeah.
Cho nên nó skip không được. Phải là trong này. Một trong cái big destination.
Euro Airport.
Và cái nào là thôi.
Yeah, you can see it now as we go past it over on the left-hand side.
Cái đó gì đó? Gì đó đó. Mình nhìn không thấy hết ha.
And there's the Rhine down on the left-hand side as well.
The Rhine.
Or on the right-hand side as well, but you can't see them.
That's the Rhine River. Oh, missed it. Yeah, just missed it. The Rhine River.
There's not a lot of land space here in the country of Switzerland that can be used, and so the area that they do have tends to become very, very concentrated.
Nói cái nước nó chảy mạnh đó tại vì theo sự chốt hành nhưng mà khói mình bay xuống thì mình sẽ bắn tiếp. Mình nghĩ thấy cái nước nó uống được là tại vì cái tô nó chạy xuống.
Need to get on board if they wish. They probably won't, especially when I talk about it. They never do. It's only when I don't talk about it that they do. But I would like to ask you, please, to take care that you have your seat belts on whilst you cross over the border. That is something they are very, very, very anxious.
We're crossing the border to Germany now.
Germany or France?
Germany or France? I think crossing the border with Germany.
Yeah, all the border guides have
I
got
don't
something
know.
better to do on
France. Yeah.
Sunday, the 17th of December, rather than standing there in the cold checking vehicles. And that's good so.
I will check.
70.
So here we are then in France, ladies and gents. Now, this area of France that we're coming into is a very, very interesting area. This is called the French Alsace region. That's spelled A-L-S-A-C-E.
Cái nước này là cái nước hồi sáng mình lấy trong
The French
passport.
Alsace. The Alsace is a French département. A département is a state, a French state, and it's literally the forgotten state of France, if you like, or was for many, many years. And there is a reason for that, and that is that after the Roman Empire, the Romans were, of course, here, and after the Roman Empire, it was actually a German tribe that took over the French Alsace. It wasn't the French Alsace at that time, of course. It was just an area of land, and it was the area of land between the Rhine River on the right-hand side and the French Vosges mountain range, and you'll see that mountain range coming into view on the left-hand side very shortly. On the left-hand side now, the area of land then between the Rhine and the French Vosges mountain range in this region is called the Alsace. And after the wane of the Roman Empire, it was a German-speaking people. They were called the Alemanni, and they moved into this area. Now the Alemanni came from the German side of the Rhine, but at that time, of course, there was no Germany. Germany was just groups, just a number of different tribes, like the Franken, the Preußen, the Saxon, and these tribes spent all their time at that time burning each other's houses down and killing each other and stealing their land and stealing their animals. And so the Alemanni saw that the Romans were beginning to retreat from this area, and so they crossed over the Rhine and they settled in this area at that time, and they stayed here then right up until 1676. And that is particularly important because you will see in Strasbourg during your tour, and I don't want to take too much away from the tour guide who will be doing the tour, but you will see that the oldest buildings in these towns like Strasbourg were all built by the Alemanni. They're very old, they're very easily recognized because only the first floor is built in sandstone, and the second, third and fourth floor, that's about as high as they went in those days, they used to put up a wood framework, and they would pack that wood framework with a mixture of clay, reeds and straw, and so you can recognize those buildings very easily. Many of those buildings, well, many of those buildings are still standing actually. It's actually amazing. Now those buildings were built by the Alemanni, right? So the Alemanni came into this, moved into this area as the Romans left, and they stayed here until 1676. It wasn't until 1676 that the French King Louis XIV actually came over here and won the battle against the Alemanni and drove them back onto the eastern banks of the Rhine, and took the area of the Alsace under French control for the first time. And so the French moved into this area then in 1676, and then the Alsace became French, of course. And then things started to get really interesting, because in 1870 a war broke out here in Europe, and that war was called the Franco-Prussian War between the Germans and the French. And the French actually started the war, but they lost it, and so in 1871 the Germans moved back in here, and they managed to stay here not very long, because they then started a war. It was called the First World War in 1914, which they lost, and so the Germans moved back in here in 1871, but in 1918, at the conclusion of the First World War, the Alsace was given back to the French again, and the Germans were sent over onto the eastern banks into what we know as Germany today. And that really did open up a massive can of worms here in Central Europe, because it was a certain gentleman called Adolf Hitler who came to power in Germany. And Adolf Hitler was very clear about what he thought about all this. Even even many years earlier, while he was in prison, he wrote in his book Mein Kampf, My Fight, he wrote, the Alsace is German. People speak German. The town names, all the names are in German. The Alsace is German, and if I get to power in Germany, I'm going to go over there and take it back. And of course he did get the power in the early 1930s, and his power got more and more until in 1939, 1940, then he marched back over here with his troops and re-annexed the Alsace, which in itself was quite a feat. He did it in 2 days, although they had the French spent the whole of the 1930s building a line of forts between Basel and Luxembourg called the Maginot Line, and actually Adolf Hitler's troops went around it. They went through Belgium and came in through the back door, and so the Germans then re-annexed the Alsace in 1940 and held it then again for the duration of the Second World War. And it wasn't then until 1945 that the Germans again lost the Second World War, were sent back over onto the eastern banks of the Rhine once again, and the Alsace region was handed back to the French again. I would like to say they've held it ever since, but of course since the late 1960s, 1970s, we've been living here in a European Union state, and so today there are no borders between any of these countries, and so today, whether you live in the Alsace or whether you live on the German side of the Rhine, makes no difference. You can go backwards and forwards and live where you want and work where you want, and so all of those problems have dissolved. But you can see that this was a very heavily fought over area, and indeed if I were to tell you that only about 5 or 6 years ago I was on holiday in France, over on the other side of France, on the western side, in a town called Nantes, which is right over by the Atlantic, and I had a European Union card to buy things, and I went into a shop to buy something, and they said to me in the shop, well, we don't accept this. And I said, well, what do you mean you don't accept it? It's a European Union card, it's a bank card, I can get money with this. And I said, I get money all the time in Strasbourg with it, yeah. And he looked at me and he said, yeah, but Strasbourg's not in France. Strasbourg is the capital of the Alsace, and it's a French town and has been for many years. But apparently there are still people in France that don't know that. They think it's German. So it just goes to show how actual this and how this situation actually is even today. No? And as you can imagine then, that means that the people here in the Alsace have been forgotten, and that means that whoever ran this area, whether that was the Germans or the French, were very reluctant to really invest much money here, because they never knew if the other one was going to come and take it over again, yeah? So, so the people in the Alsace lived a very poor life, and it wasn't really until the advent of the European Union, the much maligned European Union, that actually spends a lot of money giving areas of Europe that are poor money to lift them up and try to create a level playing field. And so the Alsace has profited incredibly through that, it has to be said. And today, the Alsace has a very good quality of life, and the towns like Colmar, Mulhouse and Strasbourg, the three main towns in the Alsace, have a very good standard of living. Now, of course, not only European money has contributed to that. This area, this Alsace region, is massive for two particular things. One of those is tourism, and there is a lot of tourism today, especially on the Rhine and things like that, with lots of ships on the Rhine, and they go right. The Rhine, of course, goes right alongside the Alsace. And the second one, of course, is the production of wine, and people who have got money drink wine, and so today a lot of wine is drunk in the world, and Alsatian wine is exported today throughout the world. They have a lot of success with wine, and I'll be talking a bit more about that very shortly as well. Although Martin, your cruise manager, actually told me before that you don't like wine. He said you only drink Mountain Dew. It's like that.
We're stopping at Strasbourg for a toilet break and tour.
Faire marche arrière à un rond-point et chercher où c'est qu'on était.
Not the 3D print. Okay, so here we have all the city center. All the city centers. So I told the Strasbourg was French, German, French. Yeah, here. So Strasbourg became French with Louis XIV. It remained French till the Austrian Kaiser, Emperor, comes here at the end of 19th century. So then he comes, he made a huge destruction to the city. Cathedral took fire, a lot of places was destructed by him, unfortunately, but once the city was German, he decided to rebuild the whole new quarters of the new city to host the government of his new department. So firstly, he created all this square, which was the Kaisersplatz, Emperor's Square. Now this is the Place de la République, one of the central square in Strasbourg. And here we can see them, but he built the whole new quarters, what we call Neustadt. Neu, nouveau, new, Stadt, city. For example, he's built this beautiful library, the second biggest library in France. Here we had a university, here another part of the campus. All these quarters was also built by Kaiser. Here we have, here is the little France, I will talk about that a little bit later. Here he built the university hospital. It's one of the biggest hospitals in this region, with a special hospital winery from the Middle Ages. Started in Middle Ages and we since have a winery at the hospital. Very important to heal some stuff. Okay, And here, this part is also one of the buildings we can look here. We can take here. So you can see here was already also built by Kaiser. So what we're gonna do next? We go here. You have to to the cathedral. Okay, what you can do also at your free time, very, very beautiful places are here, which is called Little France, La Petite France. So this quarter was used by the guilds in the Middle Ages. So in the Middle Ages, when Strasbourg was independent city of Strasbourg, everything was governed by guilds. So if you was a craftsman, it was really useful to become a member of the guild, so you was kind of protected. However, if you got sick, you have help. If you die, your family have help, etc. And to make the important decision, you can also be okay with the members of your guild, and so we can say, okay, we'll do this like that. So it was very, very important. And so now if you go here, you can see the different streets, streets of a person who make barrels for the wine, streets of person who sell garlic, etc. And a lot of streets names are doubled in 2 languages. So we have French and Alsatian. And we had one of the biggest Christmas markets here is the former horse market. So that's why this is a very long square. So I think in the Middle Ages maybe you test horses as we test cars. I think that's why it's such a long square, so you can taste the horses. Test. So one of the biggest Christmas markets is here, or otherwise here also. Very, very big Christmas market. It's really close to the cathedral. And what is nice with the cathedral, you can see the spire. It's high and you can see it from very far.
Strasbourg.
Nowadays we have lots of Christian churches, we have both of them. We have, for example, St. Paul Protestant and St. Paul Catholic. Not to make Bien sûr. La cathedral, cathedral, yeah. It's Our Lady.
Half past.
So when Louis XIV comes here, he turns cathedral half Protestant, half Catholic. He was really inclusive, very progressive for the period of time. So I don't know which days exactly, but it was Monday, Friday, Protestant, the other days Catholic, stuff like that. But it was devoted to Lady Mary at this period. And actually then you go somewhere, no matter where, usually cathedral is devoted to Lady Mary. And when you speak about cathedral, almost each big city has their own cathedral. It's very crowded. Yeah. Just wait for everybody. You need to know something about cathedral, however. Is everybody here? I know.
It's just like can I hold that?
So, cathedral was built on the foundation of ancient church. First we have the Roman church, after Romanesque church, so Christian, and obviously Gothic cathedral. So it's one of the highest cathedrals in Europe. It's the 5th highest cathedral and 2nd highest cathedral in France. In the Middle Ages it was the highest cathedral for 3 centuries, something like that. One more higher, yeah, it's higher. Notre Dame it's smaller because it was
Well, what's number 1?
in France, one.
Oh, 1.
So it's 146 meters. So if you climb everything open, go 60 meters high, they can go very beautiful like this. inside the little stairs, a very good, nice uplift door.
That's Johannes Gutenberg, the guy who invented the printing machine, mass produced for printing books and stuff. This is Gutenberg. There's Our Lady with number 4 waiting for us. 15 minutes to go.
There's a man staying outside.
Yeah.
Oh, they have a receptionist.
Yeah. See. They're like I'm there.
Oh, you're gonna have to do some walking.
Yeah. And nearby chiếc tàu side by side, all three of them. Water is very strong, huh? The current. We keep to the right. Hello, how are you going? Look at this, the current very strong. Welcome on board, everybody. Go right through. Our ship is the third ship. Okay,
Can you ask for the lunch money or
no, cái lấy lãng qua bạch thôi. I think ours is the third ship. You only guess right. Yeah. We use the word. This is the second ship, yeah. Hello, how are you going? Hey. There is our ship, SS Antoinette. The SS Antoinette, that's our ship. Evening, how are you going?
Welcome, doing great, thank you. Welcome.
We're the last, I think. Monday morning, December 18th, I think. Looking out the river, there's one boat leaving. Look at the water on the Rhine. The current is so strong. That's because of all the water coming from the Swiss Alps. Incredible current. That's the ship next to us, the other side. No, it's no ship.
And of course, some of them are even smarter. They just rented the whole villa to the certain companies or to the university. But as I already mentioned, renting a flat here in Heidelberg is very expensive. And if you get lucky to find a flat, you consider yourself winning a lottery, honestly. So the moment you get an apartment being advertised, you know, for rent, you have it in the first 10 minutes like more than 500 people applying for it. So the competition is really hard. So that's why the owners of the flat can, you know, have really high rates on the rent. The other day I was looking one of these apartments on the other side. This town is called Bergheim, on the other side, and 2-bedroom apartment. So here in Germany we say 3-room apartment, which includes the living room, you know, living room and 2 bedrooms. It was rented for 3,500 euros a month. There is a kitchen, of course, completely furnished kitchen, you know, equipped and everything, but still, you know, it's a bit over the top. You know, how important it was. Even Mark Twain, when he stayed in Heidelberg, was visiting this place.
Look at that tree. The giant bonsai. That's a bit of an oxymoron. Giant bonsai. That's the castle.
We have several squares here in Heidelberg. So basically the Christmas market, make sure that you are on a sidewalk, please. So we have a Christmas market being set, and the wedding ceremony took place in London in 1613. The story says that even William Shakespeare performed for their wedding, which is not possible. Why? Because William Shakespeare died in 1615, so it's not really likely that he will be jumping on a stage with these two. He was attending the wedding, not performing. Replaced by the head of artillery. That's why these gardens nowadays bear the name Artillery Gardens. The year is 1615, and Elizabeth Stuart is about to celebrate her 18th birthday. She had it all. She had a palace, she had gardens, she had jewels, she had it all. So her husband was really thinking what to give to his wife. So he came up with an idea of building a gate. So the story says the gate was built in just one night. I mean, the gate was carved over many months and then put together in one night. So basically, the king of Bohemia, today's Czech Republic, died, and he left no children behind. So every European kingdom or empire claimed that Bohemia belongs to them. Why? Because they were all closely related, they were all family. But our Frederick V was offered the crown of Bohemia, and he was foolish enough to accept it. Even his father-in-law advised him not to do it. But, you know, who could refuse not being king? So him and Elizabeth moved from here to Prague and ruled there for just 1 week. So, but the only thing that we see here would be the letter of the main entrance of the turquoise angel wings holding the flag. Now, the builder mason came here to build this with his family, and of course they had scaffolding going all the way around the house. And these being built with a clay on top of the scaffolding, not floor, and of course it was built outside. So the mason was desperate. He locked himself inside one of these rooms, never wanting to leave. One night he dreamt, and he dreamt about his 2 boys. They were in a field that was covered with flowers.
right here where we're standing now, in summertime, there's waiting practice. You know, I here is a by the time the couple get their date, they break up. This is the only building that's being reconstructed at the end of the 19th century. The cost of reconstruction is $500 million. 19th century, this was astronomical money. And then the authorities realized, actually, artists have a right. We should keep this as it is, conserve it as it is, like a ruin, you know, because they knew if they're going to do all the rest of the buildings, will go bankrupt. And this building was the name Isn't this right?
22,000 liter wine barrel. Oh, jeez, man.
That's on 2023 nè bạn.
Yeah.
Jan 2023.
Yeah. Not nice.
Ba muốn nhớ không bạn?
Not nice. No, not nice.
Sao nó
No. Graffiti. It's bad. No, it's bad.
It's one of the historic sites. I think it's meant to be obvious.
Yeah. We're standing on top of the biggest wine barrel in the world, 22,000 liters.
Đủ chưa con?
Looking out, there's the river. Now we go work down. Hello, Jaden.
This is going to go around a really tight curve. Soft flesh and a lot of tattoos.
Man, terrible.
Yeah. Can you step in?
So, if you don't have money to pay taxes, you bring in the wine and you pour them in there, and it's all mixed. So, who's going to drink them? How you trust what people bringing? Huh? There it is. Let's have some wine.
my hand warmer is really warm now. Wouldn't. Slippery. Ice, yeah. The water current so strong you can hear. Yes, that's ice.
Yeah, this is a selfie spot.
Ice. That's ice, so slippery.
Did you want this selfie there? This is a good spot.
Yeah. Yes.
That was pretty cringe, so you're my best friend. It doesn't matter. Like, it was political marriage, I don't know. You're real warm. But then that made that, so I thought, really, like, you really look your. Yeah. And in fact, in your body, fate, which you wrote instead of, this guilt drives him to become Bazaka and go crazy. So he can sometimes look like Mervyn is with a lady.
For that Christmas shop. Straight down that street, around 100 meters or 320 feet, to your left is going to be a square. Yeah? To the left is that Christmas market. You can't miss it. Even though if you plan nothing
Later on we can find plenty here. Yeah.
There's a supermarket back.
Yeah. For this one, do you have a charger?
What's the port?
One of the longest shopping mall in Europe, in Heidelberg. Muốn coi gì hả? City of Heidelberg.
Evet, öyleydi.
Cái thung lũng.
This is the first Mercedes-Benz
Oh wow!
prototype car.
They're like look like
Amazing.
look like a cat. Yeah.
Even a picture opportunity. And in front of us, that's a Mannheim market. That's actually a city center. At least you're gonna know how it looked like if you were to visit. This place is about 3 miles away from the ship where the ship is docked. So easily you can take a taxi and come and visit today, later on, or even tomorrow.
That's the original one. Huh?
Yeah. The first Mercedes
What is this
Benz.
cathedral?
That's the market over there. That's yeah.
That's big. Đó xài landmark gì của ba cái này cho mình. Là ba khoe cái landmark của.
There's the Christmas market.
I know that Christmas market.
Oh, I bet that's really pretty.
But everyone knows Versailles.
Everyone knows Versailles.
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 Yeah.
Versailles.
In France.
So when the French people got this place,
No.
the French architect.
Here in Germany. Now, another thing that they have, as I said, was the Wald Kindergarten. This is the forest preschool. So this is something I haven't found anywhere else in the world, and it's very, very popular here in Germany. In fact, about 1/3 of the children here go to a forest preschool. Now, these are preschools that are in the middle of the forest. They're essentially one hut, a very basic hut with a bathroom, a little kitchenette, a tiny room there. And the parents who bring their children to these kindergartens, they need to
Vinegar tasting area.
My husband, he's Australian too, but he did a great job here. Kristen Berlin, he's been in Heidelberg for 12 years. He's an opera singer. So, yeah,
Yeah, opera singer. Tasman.
opera
solving